Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I continue to review the What If Season 2 series. In this one, we are talking about Episode 5 of Season 2, What If Captain Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper. Now, you remember we've seen Captain Carter on What If in previous seasons, and Season 1. Also, the Hydra Stomper was a big part of her story, piloted by the one Steve Rogers. So, in this episode, Captain Carter's mission to save Steve Rogers sets her on a collision course with new enemies. As I've mentioned before, we will probably get a little bit into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, go check it out and then come back and watch the video, especially because I'll talk about the cast and then that leads to talking a little bit about the synopsis. There's also a really cool ending little tease at the end of this, which is really hinting at another episode that's been announced. So I'm very excited. This was probably, I will say, probably my favorite episode of this season 2 so far. Um, I don't know where it ranks among all the episodes of What If, but yeah, this one just really had a lot of it. It combined elements from two of my favorite movies, which is The Winter Soldier and the Black Widow movie. Like, I really like the themes, the spy thriller themes of both of those. Takes a lot of that and it just kind of remixes it together. So let's talk about the cast. We have Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, Haley Atwell voices Captain Carter, aka Peggy Carter, Lake Bell once again as Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, Josh Keaton voices Steve Rogers, who is piloting the Hydra Stomper. Um, and it makes kind of sense that they have they sound a little bit different because this is a Steve Rogers that never got the super soldier serum as we saw in season 1. So he's not as big, he's not as buff, maybe his voice is not as deep as Chris Evans, but Josh Keaton does a fantastic job voicing Steve Rogers. We also have Rachel Weisz returning as Melina, her character from the Black Widow movie. So I'll talk about the last few characters. We also have Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. We have Sebastian Stan as a version of Bucky. So yeah, as I mentioned, this episode takes elements from the Winter storyline and really readapts them for Peggy Carter. Right in this episode, we're in the present of 2012 when it would have been the first Avengers movie. Uh, and the Avengers are formed. They include now Captain Carter instead of Steve Rogers, so things have changed. But we get to see Black Widow and Captain Carter work together a lot. They are kind of all in on it for Shield, as we saw Captain America and Natasha in the Winter Soldier movie. So pretty much it's kind of the same plot, but instead of discovering the Winter Soldier, they discover that uh, the Hydra Stomper has been used, but instead of being used by Hydra or another entity, they bring in the Red Room from the Black Widow movie, and that's where Rachel Weisz's character comes in. So yeah, just that combination of those two plots and smashing them together, the chemistry between the character of Peggy and Natasha, just like it plays off so well. Because they make a really good team, just like Steve and Natasha made a good team, they also make a really good team. But of course, Captain Carter is very different than Steve Rogers was, and like both attitude wise. They can both kick a lot of ass, but they approach problems very differently. And then when we get the full reveal of like what the Hydra Stompers really after, what the mission is, and then of course the reveal of the Red Room and all that, just really really fun stuff. Like I said, I really enjoyed this one. The animation looked fantastic. We had some really cool fights. A little bit of a repetitive element and maybe some power scaling that doesn't fully work out, but I'm willing to overlook some of that stuff for the sake of the story. We also get to see Crossbones here, as in he's still a Rumlow, and so Frank Grillo gets to come back and voice that character because at this point Hydra maybe doesn't exist in the same iteration, so these characters maybe are not betraying Shield. I don't know. And of course, the revelation that Bucky, is now the character that was Robert Redford in the Winter Soldier. He is the director of Shield. Uh, just really really cool stuff overall. So now here comes the big spoiler. After everything is done, Captain Carter is zooped away by a portal that even disappears from the Watcher's vision. Even the Watcher doesn't know what the hell just happened. And then we get a little tease of a Nick Fury and a Scarlet Witch that don't look fully contemporary. You might say they belong to the year 1602. So there's your tease for that episode. Now, it's not the next episode, I believe. The next episode is going to introduce that new character that's MCU exclusive. But the 1602 episode, based on the Neil Gaiman book, should be coming. And that book was all about getting a man at a time into a different time. So it looks like we are doing something very similar with Captain Carter, who is a woman at a time. So really, really cool stuff. If you saw this episode, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Bye-bye.